Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to Screen Preach to all you who tune in every week. Welcome back to any new listeners I might have or might get. Hello. Welcome. It's another episode. It's another week of Screen Preach. It's episode 29. We've been coming up on 30. That's pretty cool. 30. Yeah, I see this show in at like episode 100 and episode whatever, down the road, in the future. It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to get better. It can only get better. I just do it because it's like something to do and it's like fun and, I don't know, think about all this stuff anyway. Might as well just talk it out anyway. And so if I just keep doing it there for therapeutic reasons for myself, maybe too, it also will get better and more people will enjoy it. And here we are, and it's episode 29, and it's just, it's tough to find stuff to talk about that's new. I did pretty good the last few weeks. Every now and then I'll get something. I didn't really know what to talk about this week, but I found something that I wanted to watch last year and didn't get around to it. Got around to it, so that's what I'll be talking about today. In the name of the Godfather, the Son of Odin, and the Holy Jedi. I think it's my first time wearing shorts on the show. Just realized that. Not that I don't wear shorts, it's just didn't happen to line up where I was wearing them on the day I was recording. Now they did. She's passed out over there. She might not even be in this one because she's really just tired. She went to the beach yesterday. It's her favorite thing of all to do is to go to the beach. We went to the beach. I don't know why I haven't been going to Santa Monica more. It's the closest beach to me. I was going to Malibu, but it's further. I don't know. It still ended up being a long fucking drive back because I went at the wrong time and it was just a lot of traffic from rush hour, which means there are people back. I guess people are back at work. That's great for them. That's just wonderful. Some of us are not so lucky. I can't find shit. I mean, I'm literally running around this town. Like, everybody has my fucking application, my resume at this point. I don't know what to do. I'll figure it out. All California would have to do is open indoor dining and I would have a job. That's all they have to do, and they won't do it. And it makes no fucking sense. It makes no fucking sense. Because other states are doing it. With minimum capacity indoors and whatever. You have to wear the mask and shit. Why can't they do that here? No fucking idea. But go ahead. Keep it closed and keep fucking people over who need to fucking go to work. You open the indoor, then all of a sudden the restaurants need more, they get more business. They need more people. They can have their fucking people back and working. You know what I mean? But no, let's leave it closed. It's a great idea. Honestly, both sides of the fucking, with government and shit, both sides are fucking us right now. Either they don't want to open up, or they don't want to give you more fucking unemployment. So it's both sides just being cocksuckers. Excuse my language, but that's what it is. I don't know. I don't want to get into that shit. Let's talk about movies. That's what we're here for. This week was a good week. I had a good week. I don't know. It was nice. With the news, there's some cool stuff, okay? There's some cool stuff in the news. This whole year off from Marvel is awesome because we're just gonna be craving this shit. You know how fucking packed 2021 and 2022 and maybe even 2023 are gonna be with fucking superhero movies? Like, it's ridiculous. And I'm not just talking about Marvel, I'm talking about both sides. DC and Marvel, flooding this. That's going to be all their business, the movie theaters, is the superhero stuff, I was watching a podcast today, and they're comedy podcasts, but they were funny. They were talking about how, it's just going to, when they reopen theaters, it's going to be a Disney theater, a Warner's theater, an MGM, like all the studios are going to have their own theaters because there's no point in having any of the other movies in theaters anymore, just the franchise movies. Kind of makes sense. Might probably happen too. Who knows? But a lot of movement, like things like we know things. I mean, Marvel just keeps giving us stuff. I love the hype. I'll get into that. But this is just in. This just came in just before I started recording. John David Washington, the star of Christopher Nolan's latest film Tenet, also the son of Denzel Washington, which I didn't know until a few weeks ago and shit. I think I brought that up on the show. He just joined Christian Bale and Margot Robbie in David O. Russell's next film. This is fun. Like, this is something I've been waiting to hear about this because, I mean, where's David O. Russell been? If you don't know who David O. Russell is, he's the guy who did Three Kings, The Fighter, Silver Linings Playbook, American Hustle, and Joy. And Joy came out in 2015. That means we haven't heard from him at all in 5 years. And he's always been a filmmaker. I enjoy his films a lot. I love his films. I'm wondering when the fuck his next, any movement on something else he's doing. Here we go. Nice cast so far. John David Washington, Christian Bale, and Margot Robbie. Love it. He was supposed to do a film called Legacy of Secrecy, which was like going to be like a mob film about like the assassination of Kennedy or so. I don't know. It was supposed to have De Niro in it and DiCaprio, and I think they were both supposed to be in that. But I think they shelved it simply. My opinion is that they shelved it because it might have been too similar to The Irishman. Because it's not even. I don't even see it slated at all for him. I don't think he's doing that anymore. So whatever this film is, this is his next one, and it'll probably be interesting. He has a style. He has a genre he likes to stay involved in. It seems to be like I don't know. I guess not though. He's all kind of he's all over the place with stuff. He likes to mix it up. I was gonna say crime, but no. I mean, only one was crime. The other three were just dramas. We'll see what it is. No idea. But I like to hear about that because I've been waiting for something from him for 5 years. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series seems to be officially ready to start filming in March of 2021. That was confirmed today or yesterday. The Stand, the Stephen King adaptation of The Stand, which I thought was a movie, but it's actually a TV series on CBS. That's cool. There was a trailer for it, so go check out the trailer for that. It comes out in December, I think. These fucking people outside. There you go. Hit the fucking button. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out because I like Stephen King's worlds, his universe. And then this whole thing with Green Lantern. So HBO, they're trying to take their superheroes content and build universe out of it with TV, and HBO Max is their streaming source for that. And so Green Lantern is official. I knew about this. I might have mentioned it. Green Lantern TV series, live action on HBO Max. And they announced that there's like at least four Green Lanterns in this show. And it's not about Hal Jordan, and it's not about why am I blanking on the other famous Green Lantern's name right now? What was his name? Fuck, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I hate that. God damn it. Point is, neither of them are in it. It's about other characters from the comics. I don't know. But Sinestro's in it, the villain Sinestro, who was in the movie, the crappy movie. But anyway, the writers of like the CW's DC verse, like Arrow and Flash, and one of those writers I think is on board to be the writer of this. So that's interesting. It's Mark Guggenheim. Yeah, he's done Arrow and the Flash and stuff. So there's some movement there with Green Lantern. I like that stuff. I'll definitely check it out. Um, we'll get into what I wanted to talk about because it seems like both Marvel and DC are just opening it up. Like they're just going full balls to the wall here with multiverse stuff. They're just gonna blow the roof off of everything we ever thought about. Like everything we ever possibly could have thought about seeing in a live action movie might actually all come to life in the next decade. So because of what I mean, Marvel and DC are just going all out with multiverse stuff. You're gonna have like fucking the X-Men from the last 20 years show up in the fucking Avengers movie for all we know at this point. Hugh Jackman could just show up again. I don't know what's going on. We'll see what the fuck's going on. I mean, it's crazy. There was a Mank trailer. I mentioned Mank a couple weeks ago because they dropped photos. Now they dropped a trailer. It'll be out on Netflix. It is the biography about Mankiewicz, the writer of Citizen Kane, and Gary Oldman plays him, and David Fincher's the director. That's just going to be a good movie, just a solid, just movie, you know. I'm sure. Then there's just some. I like hype talk, a little bit of hype talk. Robert Downey Jr. wants to have a Marvel-style cinematic universe for the Sherlock Holmes movies. I doubt that will happen, but it at least tells me that he loves to play the character and that there will probably be more than 3 movies. The third one's in development right now. It should be out, next year or so. But the fact that there could be more than 3 is awesome. I just like to I had to bring that up because more than 3 would be. I like those films, so I like the Sherlock Holmes Downey films. So more than 3 is cool. I like it. Whether they do as many as a cinematic universe is, I don't know, but more than 3 seems likely, and that's cool. More hype talk. Live action Spider-Verse movie might be more possible now. I mean, look at what they're doing. I just said. But imagine a live action Spider-Verse movie with Sam Raimi directing. Sam Raimi, the director of the original Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire, is coming back to direct the next Doctor Strange movie for the MCU, for Marvel. And he fucking, if they do a Spider-Verse movie, you can bet he'll be the guy they want for it. The reason I have to bring up these things is because there was big news this week in Marvel, another big casting news. But one second, there's also been pushbacks. So we had delays. We had the Batman was pushed again. So now it's not even coming out in 2021. It'll be out in 2022. Along with that, they pushed Dune. Dune was supposed to come out this year. It's coming out next year. There's not. I mean, this is all seems pretty straightforward. We knew there was not going to be. They just, it's just not happening this year. This year's it was scrapped 2020. Finally, casting news for the next Game of Thrones content. The prequel series on HBO, House of the Dragon, which is a story specifically about the Targaryens in the height of their reign, cast one of their male leads in it, and Patty Considine is playing Viserys Targaryen the First, who was if you know the lore, he was a famous Targaryen who was actually like a really good person, and his kids went on to fight in a rebellion, or I don't know exactly. I haven't gotten around to knowing as much as people who have read the books. I will read the books. I'm still in my Star Wars binge, so I haven't gotten to those books, but I will get to those books. I don't actually know 100% about who Viserys the First was, but that is who Patty Considine is playing. First official casting for House of the Dragon. And if you don't know who he is, he was recently in The Outsider. He was the face of the shapeshifter by the end of the season in the Outsider. That's the guy. He's going to be playing a Targaryen in House of the Dragon. And it seems that the biggest Marvel deal coming is probably going to be for Ryan Reynolds. That was the latest report. Kevin Feige wants to sign Ryan Reynolds to a massive deal, more than any other actor in history. Maybe 12 film deal or whatever the fuck it is. They want Deadpool to be the face of something. Deadpool is going to be the face of something. I'm very excited about it. There's so much hype with Marvel. So much hype. And now, I mean, Spider-Man's my favorite character, so the Spider-Man films get me more hyped than anything. That's why this week's news, saving the best for last, they cast Benedict Cumberbatch in the third Spider-Man film. He is playing Doctor Strange. So, if Iron Man was the mentor of Spidey in the first one, Nick Fury the second, Doctor Strange is the mentor of Spidey in the third. And I called that months ago. I said if they're going to pick anyone, it's going to be Bruce Banner or Doctor Strange, and it's Doctor Strange. And now it opens up questions about how the whole multiverse thing comes into play for Spider-Man. That's why there's all this hype about the Spider-Verse movie and shit. But that is huge. That was our news. That's the biggest news I heard. Spider-Man has Doctor Strange in it. That is awesome. And Electro from the other. I mean, Jesus, I don't know what they're doing, but I can't imagine Kevin Feige's just gonna royally fuck his universe now after Endgame. He's got to have a plan here. It's gonna be pretty crazy. So we'll see what happens. And that is our news of the week. We will move on to our analysis of this week, and I decided to watch and talk about Brightburn. And if you don't remember that was a movie that came out last year that was like kind of under the radar a little bit, but it got some hype because it took the concept of superhero film and it turned it on its head a little bit. It kind of basically took the idea of Superman and like twisted it around into like a darker version. I finally watched it, so I figured that's what I will be talking about. So let's get into it. Bees are pollinators and wasps are predators is one of the lines in the film, and I actually think it sums up the film in a big way. So in terms of the writing, does the structure work? Quick answer, yes, it does. Okay, it does. It works. It was actually pretty well structured and well paced. I didn't think there were any problems with structure or pace. Those weren't the problems. For the problems it did have, it was short, hour and a half film that effectively built each plot point. It didn't lag. It kind of just, it was, you could watch it and not get bored. The problem I had was simply that they are taking an idea like this, turning it on its head, and not doing it the most effective way. So the superhero take is usually, when someone gets powers, that we automatically think, they're going to use them to become a hero. This takes that and says, no. What if someone with powers just is naturally supposed to be bad, right? Trying to utilize an idea like this means not sacrificing the plot or the characters, which in this case it does sometimes. The overall motivation of the film becomes flat and one-dimensional by the time it takes its turn, and our fucking powerful being is going off, just doing what he's doing. It becomes flat and one-dimensional. Our protagonist is a little unclear. Who's the main character? That was a little unclear until, of course, the end. It becomes clear we're supposed to just be following this fucking crazy kid. But Tori, played by Elizabeth Banks, the mother, she's the good character in this movie. Ever since we learn about her decision to take on this unknown creature as her child, we also can see where it's going and that she's going to have to be the one to put a stop to it. And they set all that up, and then they don't fucking pay it off. I don't know. I'll get into that. I don't know. There were a lot of opportunities for her character in this film, like for her to actually emerge as the main character, as the protagonist, and be like the hero of the story, and they don't take advantage of that. They don't take that approach, and it becomes one-dimensional. It becomes one-dimensional because Brandon is the main character, right? And Brandon's motivation becomes just pure dominating and like evil presence, with one goal of like take the world. That's it. And that gets like whatever. Like, I don't know. I wanted something a little more they needed more depth. They needed to get more creative with Brandon as a character, because his motives, it just becomes him killing and killing and killing. Like, that approach was flat for me. The plot points are clear. The inciting action is the crash into the spacecraft, which I actually like that they didn't show us right off the bat. They wait until a good story moment to go back and flash back to it. A good story moment between Tori and Brandon to tell Brandon the truth. That's when we actually see it. That was good. But yeah, the spacecraft lands. That's inciting action. True Start is his first kill, and then after that, every plot point is just a fucking kill until the big kill at the end. That's what it becomes. Basically killing everybody. First kill, reversally kills someone close to him, right? The uncle character, and then down and out, he kills the dad. Climax kills the mom. Everything becomes about him killing somebody. It's not that the movie's terrible. It's not terrible. It's just that, just a whole bunch of like baseless killing is kind of how it felt to me. I don't know why Brandon, even after, he's raised by good people, and then just because he starts hearing voices in his fucking head from the planet he's from or whatever. That's the other thing. If they explained better what the actual fuck was going on there, maybe it would have been better. Like what his planet actually, like if they got into more, I don't know. My overall opinion on this story is that it's obviously a very interesting idea, because it takes the idea of just how scary and horrific it would be if a superpowered person came to this planet and just decided not to be good, right? We also, we like to assume that superheroes, they're naturally going to be heroes. We don't consider that they're going to decide to be villains. Problem is, I don't feel Brandon deciding to be bad. I feel him like it's almost like he's possessed. Which this is like a horror film too. So I'll talk about that. I like the idea overall. I like the idea. They took the Superman concept, because he's got the same powers as Superman, and they just did the opposite with it. So like the horror elements worked, because it would be scary if someone with that kind of power was also fucking evil and crazy. I didn't like how there wasn't enough plot development for Brandon's turn to darkness. He hears the alien voices, and it almost becomes like a possession thing. Like I said, he's a good kid in the beginning, but why exactly should he dismiss everything his human parents raised him to embrace? That didn't work for me. He goes full evil psycho pretty quickly. By the end of the film, I wanted the kid to fucking die. Like, I just didn't care about him at all. He was a piece of shit. Like, that's why I wanted the mother to fucking just end it. And I didn't like the end because of that. Like, why should he go on terrorizing the world? Like, there's going to be some sequel, please. By the way, don't make a fucking sequel to this. I don't need to see him just killing more and more fucking people. Unless you're going to bring in a hero, and then all of a sudden, I don't know. I was rooting for Elizabeth Banks' character, but especially by the end. I felt her pain in having to do it. She had to be the one to kill him. She raises her hand. She's about to do it, and for some reason she fucks up. I don't understand what this is in movies with the character is like they make too much noise. Like, she was clearly like, her voice tone changed. Like, it doesn't surprise me that he caught her hand. Like, he saw it coming. She should have just fucking did it subtly, just fucking right, like, in the back of his head, and just fucking done, And instead, we gotta watch her die as brutally as everybody else. I mean, we don't actually see her hit the ground, thank God, but that is just, that you can imagine what it looked like, especially considering this movie was, their big thing in this movie was being very gory, very, like, there's a lot of gore, a lot of blood, a lot of violence. So to see her hit the ground wouldn't have been cool, They would have made it pretty nasty. I don't know. It was very fucking gruesome. If you want to see gruesome, this movie had everything. It had fucking jaws hanging off heads, glass and eyeballs. I mean, if you're a big fan of that, definitely watch it for that. Um, in terms of direction, I did like. There was one thing I did notice that I did like: the opening and closing moments. The story were done visually well because they complement each other. We get the shot of the mailbox on the night it all began, and we get a shot of the mailbox in the aftermath of the night it all ended, closing the loop. Very different state from beginning to end. Peaceful farmhouse, destroyed farmhouse. I liked that. Performance. Elizabeth Banks was the only performance I cared most about. Um, you know, I don't know. That's She had a chance to be the hero in this movie, and then she fucking dies brutally like everyone else. But I always like her performances. I like Elizabeth Banks. Yeah. I mean, not really a whole lot to say other than what I've said. Real quick, though, I actually think the scene in the school classroom, as I mentioned with the quote that opened this, that scene in the classroom metaphorically summed up the whole fucking movie, which was nice. I like when movies do stuff like that. The comparison between wasps and bees was the discussion in the classroom, and it's actually like Brandon being compared to everyone else. So that was interesting. He's a wasp, everyone else is just a bee. You know what I mean? But I don't get why he wants to kill all the people who are nice to him. Literally, like, think about it. He clearly has bullies, and instead of going after them, he goes after the one girl who was nice to him. And then he just keeps killing people who are nice to him. Like, he kills his fucking uncle and his his dad and his mom. It doesn't add up, you know? Yeah. Brightburn. Interesting movie. Check it out because it's definitely, you can sit through it. It's nice, pacey and everything. Watch it if you can handle the gore. Don't know that I'll watch it again. My rating of it is a 7.2 out of 10. It's okay. You know, it's not good. It's not great. It's okay. And, you know, that's fine. And there you have it. There you have it. I always try to get this in the time frame, and I can't seem to anymore. Fuck. Alright, keep it going. Fun fact of the week. Last week I did a quote, and now that it's a whole week later, you know, you should have got it. It's from Wolf of Wall Street, but that's my fun fact this week, because the scene that I did, there's interesting fun fact about it. So, that scene where DiCaprio and McConaughey are having lunch, McConaughey completely improvised the humming and the chest bumping beating thing, right, in the scene. In fact, right off the bat, when the scene starts, you can notice DiCaprio look off camera. In fact, he does it a couple times. He's actually doing this because, I mean, he saw that McConaughey uses this as a warm-up, right, that he performs before acting, and that's for any role. When DiCaprio is looking off camera, he's looking for approval from Scorsese on whether or not to keep rolling. That's what those moments of him looking away are. Interesting. You can see it if you watch the movie. And then later, DiCaprio encouraged Scorsese to actually keep that in the film because he thought it set the tone for the entire movie, right? And it did, because that actually even comes back later in the movie. DiCaprio does it, gets the whole office to do it. So that did. It set the whole tone for the movie. McConaughey, he had a pretty big impact on the movie, considering he was only in 2 scenes. He was on set for like a week. He had a big impact on that movie. Also, if you notice, he's very drawn in the movie, and he's skinny. It's because he was filming Dallas Buyers Club around the same time as this. Dallas Buyers Club, he won an Oscar for Best Actor for. So he had an impact on 2 films up for Best Picture that year. Dallas Buyers Club and this movie. 2013 was definitely McConaughey's year. Let's put it at that. Question of the week. Following up on last week first, Our question was the big movie question I love to ask anyone. What's the greatest movie sequel of all time? I said The Dark Knight. So did everyone else, it turns out. As the polls came up for me, as I looked them up and shit, most people said The Dark Knight for number one. And yes, number 2 and 3, The Godfather Part 2 and Empire Strikes Back. So like I said, right? After that, it's Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And at number 5, it's Aliens. And then Lord of the Rings, which I didn't bring up. I forgot to. But that is a great one. Like, if you picked that as number 1, I'd accept it. Because Return of the King, the third one, is, in a lot of people's opinions, one of the best sequels of all time. So I would definitely accept that one. That was number 6. That's a good list, too. Great fucking sequels. Go watch them. Go watch the first ones, too, obviously. And seconds and thirds and whatever, you know, if they're part of series and stuff. This week, it's a very simple question. I'm a big fan of Westerns, so I figured I'd take that approach this week. Who is the greatest Western movie director, in your opinion? There's only a few that could really possibly come to mind, too. And that's probably going to be like Sergio Leone, Tarantino, John Ford, you know, the basic Clint Eastwood. And I'm going to say Sergio Leone is the greatest Western director of all time. But yeah, who do you think? If you don't know who Sergio Leone is, that's your first problem right off the bat, because you haven't seen some of the greatest Westerns of all time. You need to go see those. But yeah, you definitely have seen Tarantino's Westerns. Come on. Django Unchained, Hateful Eight. Great fucking movies. John Ford, he did older ones. Clint Eastwood did a lot in between his Sergio Leone days and his older days. He did a lot, where he also starred in them. And a lot of those are good, too. Yeah. Now it is our movie quote of the week. This is a quick one, a fun one, and it is a comedy. Tell me what you think it's from, what you know it's from. Ready? Okay. Flaming Dragon. Fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face. Now, I don't know what kind of pan-Pacific bullshit power play you're trying to pull here, but Asian Jack is my territory. So whatever you're thinking, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm going to have to come down there, and I will rain down on a godly fucking firestorm upon you. You're going to have to call the fucking United Nations to get a fucking binding resolution to keep me from fucking destroying you. I am talking scorched earth, motherfucker. I will massacre you. I will fuck you up. Yeah, I know. A lot of fuck. He says a lot of fuck in that. I even got her away. She woke right up. What are you doing? Come here. Did you wake up because he yelled? Yeah, so name that movie. Like I said, it's a comedy. And that's where we're at. That was good. That's a good episode. How did I come in on time, actually? Because I kind of speeded up the end a little bit. Oh, I love it. Yes. Good shit. All right. This week on Caught My Attention, there's an obvious one, and it's that Eddie Van Halen, the legend, guitar player, died at 65 years old, and that sucks, but, you know, his music will go down in history. I also saw some. I love the science shit. Like I said, I'll bring up science shit. I like the whole megalodon. There was this megalodon thing. There was research about why they were so huge. You know, the ancient great whites, the megalodons. They were like bigger than regular great whites and shit. It's because apparently they actually ate the other eggs in the womb, and that's why they were bigger. So basically, cannibalism is why they were bigger. I saw that. All right. Good shit. Good episode. Come back next week. I don't know yet what I'm going to talk about. Haven't picked it yet. You know, I wanted to have already talked about Tenet. I was going to talk about the New Mutants. I don't know where to find that. I don't think it's out to find yet. Just new stuff. I can't get them yet. We'll see what I end up picking. In the meantime, I'm your host, Ben Morganti. Follow me personally at the Ben Morganti. Follow the show at Screen Preach. Check out my website, benmorgantistory.com. I added another short film to the website this past week. Go check it out. It was something I planned on making. I almost made. I mean, I filmed, but we had audio and visual. We lost a lot of files, and we didn't end up making it because we lost shit, and it sucks because we put a whole crew together, and it was, you know. But the script is up there. Go read the script. Subscribe to BMS Studios on YouTube. Subscribe to my brother's channel too for good cyclist content or whatever. J&J Customs. And if you really want to support the show, become a patron at Patreon. Other than that, have a cinematic week.